Welcome back, dear friends. Those of you who find joy not just in watching films but in unraveling their deeper layers, the stories that linger beneath the surface, the subtle undercurrents that whisper truths about us all. I'm so glad you're here again, ready to dive into another thoughtful journey with me. If you've enjoyed these explorations before, please do consider liking this video and subscribing to Frame Shift. It truly helps us build a community of curious minds who crave more than just surface entertainment. And before we begin, a little note: what I'm sharing today isn't your typical movie review. It's a deeply intellectual, theoretical, and critical analysis, crafted for those with a background in literature and a hunger for insight, for education beyond the obvious. Think of this as a conversation among close friends who love to read between the lines and savor the rich textures of storytelling. The film we're unfolding today is a gripping tapestry of raw emotion and tense confrontation, set against the backdrop of a small town that seems, at first glance, to promise peace but instead reveals simmering conflict and danger. When I first encountered this story, I was struck by how it weaves themes of redemption, family, and survival with a gritty realism that felt both intimate and expansive. It resonated with me in unexpected ways, reminding me of those moments in life when past mistakes come knocking, when the quiet of a new beginning is shattered by old demons. Watching the characters navigate their fraught landscape felt like witnessing a delicate dance of trust and betrayal, where every choice carries weight, every silence hums with tension. At its core, the film centers on a Moon seeking a fresh start, trying to escape the shadows of a violent past and build a peaceful life for himself and his daughter. The setting, a sleepy rural town, contrasts starkly with the turbulent undercurrents beneath its surface. This juxtaposition creates a rich atmosphere, a stage where personal struggles collide with larger social forces. What I found compelling was how the story balances the intimate with the brutal, the quiet moments of family life with explosive confrontations that reveal deeper fractures in human nature. The plot unfolds with a slow-burning intensity, drawing us into the protagonist's world as he settles into his new surroundings. There's a sense of tentative hope, fragile yet powerful, that life can be different, better. But this hope is quickly challenged as new threats emerge, forces that threaten not only his safety but the stability of the community. The tension builds as old enemies resurface and new alliances are tested. The narrative doesn't rush. It lets suspense simmer, punctuated by moments of startling violence and unexpected tenderness. One of the film's most striking features is its exploration of family dynamics, especially the father-daughter relationship at its heart. The protagonist's protective instincts are raw and unvarnished, revealing the complexities of love forged through pain and regret. Watching their interactions, I was reminded of the delicate balance between shielding loved ones and preparing them to face a harsh world. This theme of protection versus exposure runs through the story, raising questions about trust, sacrifice, and the cost of peace. The antagonists in this tale are not mere villains but embodiments of deeper social tensions, gritty, flawed, and frighteningly human. Their presence disrupts the fragile equilibrium, forcing confrontations that are as much about power and control as they are about survival. The film uses these characters to probe themes of violence and justice, asking us to consider where the line lies between right and wrong when survival is on the line. Without giving too much away, the story twists and turns in ways that challenge expectations. Alliances shift, motives blur, and the true nature of the characters reveals itself under pressure. The climax delivers a catharsis that is both satisfying and thought-provoking, leaving us with lingering questions about redemption and the possibility of change. It's a story that refuses easy answers, instead inviting us to wrestle with its moral complexities. What makes this film stand out for me is its grounded portrayal of struggle, physical, emotional, and moral. It doesn't glamorize violence or villainy but examines their roots and repercussions with unflinching honesty. The narrative's pacing and character development create a rich tapestry that rewards close attention and reflection, making it a perfect subject for the kind of deep analysis we cherish here. So as we embark on this exploration together, I invite you to set aside expectations of a conventional action thriller. Instead, let's look beneath the surface, to the psychological undercurrents, the symbolic moments, the narrative choices that shape meaning. This is a film about the human condition, about the fragile threads that hold us together when everything seems poised to unravel. And in that, I believe there is something profoundly universal. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Let's dive in and uncover the layers of a story that challenges, provokes, and ultimately connects us through its raw humanity and thoughtful craftsmanship. There's a kind of uneasy calm that drapes itself over the small town as the story begins. A calm that feels fragile, like the quiet before a storm you can almost hear coming but can't quite place. The film opens with a man driving his daughter through quiet country roads, the weight of their past almost palpable in the stillness. You sense immediately that this journey is more than a change of scenery. It's an attempt at escape, a desperate hope for a fresh start. The father's eyes, steely and guarded, reveal a man trying to leave behind the chaos of his former life, though the shadows cling stubbornly to him. His daughter, youthful and curious, represents a chance at innocence preserved against the darkness that threatens to follow them. Their arrival in the town marks the beginning of a delicate dance between new beginnings and old ghosts. The town itself feels sleepy, modest, almost untouched by time. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone else, and privacy is scarce. Yet beneath this quaint surface, there's an undercurrent of tension. Small town secrets and simmering resentments lurk in quiet corners. The father rents a modest house, hoping to build a quiet life away from violence and past mistakes. The daughter enrolls in school, stepping tentatively into this new world, unaware yet of the forces gathering around them. Early interactions with the townsfolk introduce us to the social fabric of this community. There's a mix of warmth and wariness, hospitality tinged with suspicion. These relationships are crucial, not only for the protagonist's integration but for the story's unfolding conflict. Among these neighbors, one stands out, a man whose friendly facade barely masks a simmering menace. His presence is a subtle threat, a reminder that even in the most peaceful places, danger can lurk just beneath the surface. The tension here is expertly drawn, the line between neighborly civility and intimidation razor-thin. The father's past is hinted at in fragments, brief flashes of his former life as a law enforcement officer, hints at violence and sacrifice, and a palpable sense of regret. These glimpses build a portrait of a man burdened by history, trying to reconcile who he was with who he wants to be. His struggle to protect his daughter while keeping his darker instincts in check becomes a central emotional thread. Watching him navigate this tightrope, I felt the weight of his internal battle, the constant push and pull between safety and the necessity of confrontation. One of the earliest key moments occurs when the father's attempt at normalcy is shattered by an act of violence that rips through the town's fragile peace. This incident is sudden, shocking, and serves as a catalyst for the unfolding drama. It exposes the town's simmering conflicts and forces the protagonist to confront the reality that escape may not be possible. The repercussions ripple through the community, escalating tensions and drawing lines between allies and adversaries. The film handles this turning point with restraint, allowing the emotional fallout to take center stage rather than relying on spectacle. The daughter's experience at school provides another crucial layer to the narrative. Her interactions reflect the challenges of fitting into a new environment while grappling with her father's guarded nature and the weight of their shared past. These scenes offer moments of innocence and vulnerability, grounding the story in personal stakes. The school environment also introduces secondary characters who will play significant roles, weaving a complex web of relationships that underscore themes of trust, protection, and belonging. As the story progresses, the father begins to recognize that the man across the street is more than just a suspicious neighbor. He is a figure entrenched in local power struggles, a man whose influence extends into dangerous territories. Their interactions become a tense game of cat and mouse, marked by veiled threats and escalating confrontations. The narrative carefully builds this rivalry, using subtle cues, a glance, a gesture, a word left unsaid, to heighten suspense. This slow burn creates an atmosphere thick with anticipation, where every moment feels charged with potential violence. The film excels at portraying the protagonist's meticulous preparations to protect his daughter and himself. From securing the home to training in self-defense, these sequences are not mere action set pieces but expressions of a man's determination to shield what he loves from harm. The tension here is not just physical but psychological, the knowledge that danger is never far, that vigilance is a constant companion. This focus on preparation and caution deepens our empathy for the character, highlighting the stakes beyond simple survival. A significant subplot involves the daughter's growing awareness of the tension surrounding her family. She begins to witness glimpses of the darker side of the town, the intimidation, the whispered threats, the glances that linger too long. These moments are charged with emotional complexity, portraying a child's struggle to understand the complicated, often frightening world her father inhabits. Her perspective adds a poignant counterpoint to the father's hardened resolve, emphasizing themes of innocence caught in the crossfire. The film uses these early events to explore broader themes of redemption and the possibility, or impossibility, of change. The father's attempts to start anew are continually tested by forces both external and internal. His past mistakes cast long shadows, and the town's entrenched conflicts resist peaceful resolution. This tension between hope and inevitability drives much of the narrative, creating a rich emotional landscape that refuses simplistic answers. One particularly compelling scene involves a tense confrontation in a local bar, where the protagonist faces off with a group connected to the antagonist. The atmosphere is thick with menace and unspoken history. The scene is a masterclass in tension building, relying on body language, tone, and pacing rather than overt violence. It reveals much about character motivations and sets the stage for the escalating conflict. Moments like these showcase the film's strength in character-driven storytelling, where every interaction counts. Meanwhile, the antagonist's backstory begins to emerge, painting a portrait of a man shaped by hardship and a ruthless desire for control. His motivations are complex, rooted not just in malice but in survival and ambition. This depth adds nuance to the conflict, making it not merely a battle between good and evil but a clash of competing needs and scars. The film resists easy villainization, inviting us to consider the ways environment and choice shape character. As the first part of the story draws toward its midpoint, the stakes rise dramatically. The protagonist's efforts to protect his daughter lead to a confrontation that escalates the town's simmering violence into open conflict. This turning point is both thrilling and emotionally charged, forcing characters to reveal their true selves and confront the consequences of their pasts. The tension that has been carefully building reaches a crescendo, setting the stage for the harrowing choices to come. What stands out in this section is the film's ability to balance action with emotional depth. Moments of high tension are interspersed with quieter scenes that explore family dynamics, regret, and hope. This pacing allows the narrative to breathe, giving viewers space to connect with the characters beyond their circumstances. The father-daughter relationship remains the emotional anchor, providing heart amid the turmoil. Throughout these developments, the film also weaves in subtle commentary on the nature of violence and justice. It questions the cycles of retribution and the costs borne by those caught in their grip. The protagonist's journey becomes not just about survival but about breaking these cycles, about seeking peace in a world that seems determined to resist it. These themes give the story a philosophical weight that elevates it beyond its genre trappings. The first part of the plot concludes with a moment of both hope and foreboding. The family's bond is tested but endures, a fragile light amid growing darkness. The town's undercurrents remain turbulent, hinting at conflicts yet to erupt. This balance leaves viewers poised between relief and anticipation, eager to see how the characters navigate the challenges ahead. In reflecting on this portion of the story, what lingers is the film's nuanced portrayal of human resilience and vulnerability. It captures the complexity of starting over, of confronting the past while striving for a better future. The characters feel real and layered, their struggles resonant and compelling. The tension is palpable but grounded in emotional truth, creating a cinematic experience that is both gripping and deeply human. This opening arc sets a powerful foundation for what follows, a tale of survival, redemption, and the enduring strength of family. It invites us to sit with uncertainty and fear, to witness courage born not of invincibility but of love. And in that, it speaks to something universal, the hope that even in the darkest places, we can find light and meaning. As the story unfolds beyond this point, the seeds planted here, of conflict, connection, and choice, promise a journey as emotionally rich as it is thrilling. But for now, this glimpse into the fragile beginnings of that journey invites us to lean in, to listen closely, and to feel deeply the quiet pulse of a story about the human heart caught between past and future. The fragile calm that seemed to cradle the town begins to shatter, like glass caught in the slow pull of an inevitable storm. The man who sought refuge, who hoped to bury the ghosts of his past in the quiet fields and empty streets, now finds himself pulled back into a world he tried desperately to leave behind. The second half of the story unfolds with a relentless intensity, where every choice carries greater weight, every shadow hides deeper threats, and the thin line between safety and destruction blurs almost beyond recognition. As the tension escalates, the simmering conflict with the antagonist erupts fully into violent confrontation. This man, who has haunted the neighborhood like a dark cloud, tightens his grip, his threats no longer whispered but shouted in forceful, brutal acts. The town itself seems to hold its breath as the uneasy peace fractures, revealing the raw wounds beneath the surface civility. The protagonist's efforts to protect his daughter become a desperate fight, a battle not just for survival but for dignity and justice. The stakes couldn't be higher, and every encounter crackles with danger and emotion. What is striking here is how the story deepens the emotional complexity of these confrontations. The violence is visceral and unflinching, but never gratuitous. It carries with it the weight of history and pain, the cycles of vengeance and fear that trap both victim and aggressor. Watching the protagonist navigate this dangerous terrain, I felt the exhaustion and determination of a man pushed to his limits yet unwilling to surrender. His resolve is fueled not by bravado but by love, a fierce, raw, and protective force that propels the narrative forward. A pivotal moment arrives when alliances shift and unexpected players enter the fray. Characters introduced earlier, who seemed peripheral or uncertain, step into sharper focus. Their choices and loyalties reveal hidden depths and fractures in the community. These shifts complicate the narrative, reminding us that in this town, lines between friend and foe are not always clear. The film uses these developments to explore themes of trust, betrayal, and the messy reality of human relationships under pressure. The daughter's role grows increasingly central. No longer just the protected child, she begins to assert her agency, confronting the dangers that surround her with courage and resourcefulness. Her evolution is both empowering and heartbreaking, capturing the tension between innocence lost and strength found. Through her eyes, we witness the personal costs of the escalating violence and the fragile hope that sustains her family. This focus on her perspective adds emotional resonance and raises the stakes in powerful ways. One of the most gripping sequences involves a tense showdown that unfolds with cinematic precision. The choreography of the confrontation is meticulous, blending physical action with psychological warfare. Every glance, every gesture, every word, or lack thereof, carries meaning. The pacing tightens, creating a heartbeat rhythm that draws viewers into the immediacy of danger. This scene stands out as a testament to the film's ability to combine suspense and character development seamlessly. As the climax approaches, the protagonist faces an impossible choice, one that demands sacrifice and tests his moral compass. This moment crystallizes the film's central themes of redemption, family, and the cost of survival. The decision he makes reverberates through the story, reshaping relationships and determining the fate of those he loves. It's a gut-wrenching turning point, portrayed with raw emotional honesty that avoids clichés or melodrama. Watching it unfold, I was reminded of the complexity of real-life dilemmas, where right and wrong are rarely clear-cut. The antagonist's arc reaches its own resolution, layered with nuance rather than simple defeat. His motivations and vulnerabilities are laid bare, inviting reflection on the cycles of violence and the human capacity for cruelty and regret. The film doesn't paint him as a one-dimensional villain but as a product of circumstance and choice. This complexity adds depth to the narrative, challenging viewers to grapple with uncomfortable truths about justice and empathy. The aftermath of the climax carries a bittersweet tone. The family, though battered, emerges with a renewed bond and a fragile hope for the future. The town, scarred by conflict, remains a place of uncertainty but also possibility. The film's resolution embraces ambiguity, refusing neat closures in favor of realism. This open-endedness invites viewers to contemplate the ongoing nature of healing and change, reflecting the complexities of life beyond the screen. Throughout this final arc, the film continues to explore its core themes with subtlety and depth. The tension between silence and violence, protection and exposure, love and fear plays out in every scene. The narrative refuses easy answers, instead presenting a world where survival demands constant negotiation between conflicting impulses. This complexity enriches the emotional texture, making the story resonate on multiple levels. The father-daughter relationship remains the emotional anchor, its evolution reflecting the broader journey. Moments of tenderness punctuate the turmoil, grounding the story in human connection. The daughter's growth toward strength and independence is balanced by the father's continued vulnerability and hope. Their bond embodies the film's meditation on family, the ways it both saves and complicates, nurtures and challenges. Visually and narratively, the resolution uses the town's landscape to powerful effect. The familiar fields and streets, once symbols of refuge, now carry the scars of conflict. The interplay of light and shadow captures this duality, hope emerging through darkness, renewal born from pain. These images linger, offering a visual metaphor for the story's emotional journey. In reflecting on these developments, what stands out is the film's commitment to portraying complexity, of character, of conflict, of survival. It resists formulaic storytelling, opting instead for nuance and emotional truth. The violence, while intense, serves the narrative rather than dominating it, highlighting the human costs of the struggle. The characters are flawed and real, their choices shaped by love, fear, and circumstance. The film's conclusion leaves us with questions as much as answers, inviting contemplation of the moral ambiguities that define human experience. It challenges us to consider what redemption means, how far we go to protect those we love, and whether peace is ever truly attainable. This thoughtful approach elevates the story, making it linger in the mind and heart. As the credits roll, the sense of journey, through danger, loss, and hope, feels complete yet open. The characters' futures remain uncertain, but their resilience shines through. The story's final moments celebrate the enduring strength of family and the quiet courage it inspires. It's a powerful testament to the human spirit's capacity to endure and heal. This unfolding narrative, from tentative beginnings to harrowing climax and poignant resolution, offers a rich tapestry of emotion and insight. It reminds us that stories of survival are also stories of connection, sacrifice, and the search for meaning. The film's skillful balance of tension and tenderness, action and reflection, creates an experience that is both gripping and deeply human. In this final part of the journey, the film's themes come into sharp focus: violence and vulnerability, isolation and intimacy, despair and hope. The characters' struggles and growth embody these ideas, making abstract concepts tangible and relatable. Their story invites us to sit with discomfort and complexity, to embrace the messy realities of life and love. Ultimately, this second half completes a narrative arc that is as much about inner transformation as external conflict. It portrays survival not just as a physical act but as an emotional and moral journey. The characters emerge changed, scarred but stronger, wary but hopeful. This nuanced portrayal resonates beyond the screen, touching on universal truths about the human condition. As we reflect on this unfolding drama, we're reminded that stories like these matter because they mirror our own struggles and hopes. They challenge us to consider what we would do when faced with impossible choices, how we navigate fear and love, and how we find light in the darkest of places. The film's conclusion leaves us with a lingering sense of reflection and connection, a testament to the power of storytelling to illuminate the depths of our shared humanity. In the unfolding tapestry of this story, the characters emerge not merely as players in a tale of conflict and survival, but as deeply human figures, etched with complexity, contradiction, and raw emotion. Their struggles, fears, and hopes intertwine to form the beating heart of the narrative, inviting us to look beyond surface actions into the depths of their inner lives. Each character is a study in resilience and vulnerability, shaped by past wounds and present choices, their relationships a delicate dance of trust, protection, and sometimes betrayal. At the center stands the protagonist, a man whose quiet strength conceals a turbulent past. He carries the weight of regret and the fierce desire for redemption, a combination that drives every decision he makes. His journey is one of profound transformation, marked by moments of tenderness as well as flashes of controlled fury. He is a figure shaped by hardship, a former law enforcement officer who seeks peace for his daughter yet remains tethered to the darker chapters of his life. This tension between past and present creates a compelling complexity, making him both heroic and deeply flawed. What is most striking about him is his protective instinct, a fierce and sometimes desperate determination to shield his daughter from harm. This drive is rooted not only in love but in guilt, an unspoken acknowledgement of past failures that haunt him. His interactions reveal a man wrestling with his capacity for violence and his longing for a quieter existence. This duality imbues his character with emotional depth, as we see the cost of survival etched into his face and actions. His silence often speaks louder than words, conveying a reservoir of pain and hope. The daughter represents both innocence and burgeoning strength. Through her eyes, we experience the fragile balance between childhood and the harsh realities that encroach upon it. Her character is portrayed with a nuanced sensitivity, capturing the confusion, fear, and resilience of a young girl caught in a dangerous world. She embodies hope, the possibility of renewal and change, and her evolving relationship with her father forms a poignant emotional thread. Her journey from sheltered child to active participant in her own survival is both empowering and heartrending. Moments of vulnerability alternate with flashes of courage, highlighting the complexities of growing up under extraordinary circumstances. The daughter's perspective adds a layer of emotional immediacy to the narrative, reminding us of the personal stakes beneath the broader conflict. Her quiet defiance and moments of tenderness make her a compelling and relatable figure. The antagonist is a character of chilling presence, his menace rooted not just in physical threat but in psychological manipulation and social dominance. He embodies the darker forces at play within the town, the cycles of violence, control, and fear that trap individuals and communities alike. His character is crafted with an unsettling realism, avoiding caricature to reveal a man driven by his own wounds and ambitions. This antagonist's relationship with the protagonist is fraught with tension and history, a collision of past grievances and present power struggles. His charm and menace coexist uneasily, making him unpredictable and dangerous. His motivations, while shadowy, suggest a complexity that invites reflection on the nature of evil, not as a monolith but as a product of circumstance and choice. This nuanced portrayal challenges simplistic villain archetypes, adding depth to the narrative conflict. Supporting characters enrich the story's emotional and thematic texture. Neighbors, friends, and foes populate the town with their own struggles and secrets, reflecting the community's fractured nature. Some offer warmth and solidarity, while others embody suspicion and hostility. These figures serve as mirrors and foils to the main characters, illuminating the social dynamics and tensions that underpin the story. A particularly compelling supporting character is a local who forms a tentative alliance with the protagonist. This individual embodies the possibility of change and the complexities of loyalty in a divided community. Their interactions reveal the challenges of trust and cooperation amid fear and uncertainty. This relationship adds nuance to the narrative, illustrating how alliances shift and evolve in response to shared threats. Family dynamics provide a rich vein of emotional complexity. The protagonist's attempts to reconcile his past with his role as a father reveal the tensions between protection and empowerment. He struggles with the desire to shield his daughter from harm while recognizing the need to prepare her for a dangerous world. These conflicting impulses create moments of tenderness and conflict, capturing the messy reality of parenthood under duress. The daughter's evolving independence challenges traditional parent-child roles, reflecting themes of growth and agency. Their relationship is portrayed with honesty and subtlety, avoiding clichés to reveal the multifaceted nature of love and responsibility. This dynamic anchors the story emotionally, making their journey deeply relatable. The antagonist's family and associates also add layers to the narrative. Their presence reveals the social networks and power structures that sustain his influence. These relationships highlight themes of loyalty, fear, and complicity, showing how individuals are caught in webs of control. This exploration adds depth to the story's social commentary. Psychological complexity permeates the characters' interactions. Fear, guilt, hope, and anger intersect, shaping choices and relationships. The film portrays these emotions with nuance, avoiding melodrama to capture authenticity. Characters reveal themselves in moments of silence and action, creating a rich emotional landscape. The protagonist's internal conflict is a focal point. His struggle to suppress violent impulses while protecting his daughter creates tension and empathy. His moments of reflection and vulnerability deepen his portrayal, inviting viewers to engage with his humanity. This complexity elevates the story beyond a simple action narrative. Similarly, the antagonist's moments of doubt and regret add layers to his character. These glimpses humanize him without excusing his actions, presenting a balanced view of morality. This approach challenges viewers to consider the roots of violence and the possibility of redemption or ruin. The daughter's character arc reflects themes of identity and resilience. Her growth from dependency to self-reliance embodies the film's exploration of strength born from vulnerability. Her moments of fear and courage resonate emotionally, grounding the narrative in personal stakes. Interactions between characters often unfold through unspoken communication, glances, gestures, silence, highlighting the film's thematic focus on connection beyond words. This subtlety enriches character development, revealing depth through nonverbal cues. The film's attention to these nuances creates an immersive emotional experience. The physicality of characters, their movements, expressions, and reactions, serves as a language conveying unspoken truths. The film's direction emphasizes this aspect, allowing performances to communicate complexity without reliance on dialogue. This technique deepens character portrayals and invites active viewer engagement. Themes of redemption and forgiveness weave through character arcs. The protagonist's journey reflects the struggle to atone for past mistakes while forging a new path. His interactions reveal the challenges of reconciling history with hope. This narrative thread adds emotional gravity. The antagonist's arc contrasts with this, illustrating the destructive potential of unresolved trauma and unchecked ambition. His choices highlight the consequences of bitterness and violence, serving as a cautionary counterpoint. This juxtaposition enriches the story's moral complexity. Supporting characters embody various responses to conflict, resilience, complicity, resistance, creating a mosaic of human reactions. Their portrayals add realism and texture, showing that communities are shaped by diverse forces and individuals. This diversity deepens the narrative world. The protagonist's relationship with the community evolves, reflecting themes of belonging and alienation. His outsider status contrasts with moments of connection and confrontation. These dynamics explore how individuals navigate social structures under pressure. This exploration adds sociological depth. The daughter's experiences at school and in social settings provide insights into identity formation and adaptation. Her interactions reveal the challenges of fitting in while maintaining selfhood. These scenes add relatability and emotional nuance. The film's exploration of violence extends beyond physical confrontations to psychological and social dimensions. Characters experience fear, intimidation, and power struggles that shape their lives. This multifaceted portrayal challenges simplistic notions of conflict. Characters' moral ambiguities reflect real human complexity. Decisions are rarely clear-cut, and motivations intertwine with survival instincts and personal histories. This realism grounds the story and fosters empathy. The film's conclusion offers a synthesis of character arcs, bringing resolutions that are satisfying yet reflective of ongoing struggles. Growth, sacrifice, and hope emerge alongside loss and uncertainty. This balance resonates emotionally and intellectually. In sum, the characters form a rich, interwoven fabric that drives the story's emotional and thematic power. Their humanity, flaws, and resilience invite viewers to engage deeply, reflecting on universal themes through the lens of personal narrative. This depth is what transforms the film from a simple thriller into a compelling exploration of the human spirit. There's a kind of hidden magic in filmmaking, a magic that often goes unnoticed by the casual viewer, tucked away in the unseen moments, the quirks of production, the little coincidences that shape a film's soul just as much as the script or performances do. This story, born from grit and heart, is no exception. Behind the raw intensity and grounded storytelling lies a treasure trove of strange and fascinating facts, oddities of production, and moments that feel like secrets whispered between the crew and the camera lens. Exploring these layers reveals how the film's unique energy was forged not only through deliberate choices but through a series of unexpected events and dedicated craftsmanship. One of the most remarkable aspects of the production is the casting process, which was far from conventional. The filmmakers sought actors who could convey a spectrum of emotions, often without relying heavily on dialogue, reflecting the film's emphasis on subtlety and internal conflict. To this end, many auditions involved scenes stripped down to bare essentials, actors performing in silence or with minimal lines, using body language and facial expressions to communicate. This approach was challenging but instrumental in shaping performances that felt authentic and raw. It's fascinating to consider how this process molded the characters we see on screen, pushing the actors to tap into nuanced, understated storytelling. Another intriguing production fact concerns the filming locations. The choice of setting, a small, rural town, was no accident. The production team scouted extensively for a place that could convey both the charm and claustrophobia of the story's world. The actual filming took place in a community where the locals were deeply involved, creating an atmosphere of collaboration and authenticity. Yet, the isolation of the location presented logistical challenges. Unpredictable weather, limited access to facilities, and the need to maintain the quiet, tense atmosphere required ingenuity from the crew. These challenges became part of the film's texture, infusing scenes with a tangible sense of place that only comes from living and working within such an environment. There's a memorable behind-the-scenes anecdote about the night shoots, which became infamous among the cast and crew. To capture the film's moody and suspenseful tone, many scenes were shot under the cloak of darkness or in low-light conditions. This demanded not only technical precision but also a heightened emotional commitment from the actors, who had to convey fear and tension authentically in physically demanding circumstances. One night, a sudden storm rolled in, turning what was supposed to be a controlled shoot into an improvised exercise in resilience. The crew adapted on the fly, incorporating the rain and wind into the scene, which ended up becoming one of the film's most atmospheric and memorable moments. This blend of planned artistry and spontaneous adaptation is a testament to the collaborative spirit behind the camera. The director's dual role as both filmmaker and lead actor added another layer of complexity and intimacy to the production. Balancing these responsibilities is a feat few can pull off seamlessly. The director's intimate understanding of the character's psyche infused the performance with a unique authenticity. On set, this dynamic fostered a closely knit atmosphere, with the director often guiding scenes not only from behind the camera but from within them. This melding of vision and embodiment created a cohesive storytelling approach that resonates throughout the film. An unusual fact involves the film's use of practical effects and minimal CGI. In an era where digital effects often dominate, this production made a deliberate choice to ground the story in physical reality. From makeup and prosthetics to carefully constructed sets and props, the tactile nature of the film's world enhances its gritty realism. For example, scenes involving confrontations and injuries used detailed prosthetics designed to be as authentic as possible, with actors undergoing hours of preparation. This commitment to practical effects extended to the design of weapons and vehicles, all crafted to fit the story's grounded tone. The result is a visceral sense of immediacy that digital effects alone might struggle to achieve. The film's sound design is another area rich with behind-the-scenes stories. Sound played a crucial role in building suspense and emotional texture, with the team experimenting extensively to find the right balance. One fascinating detail is the use of ambient noises recorded on location, birds, wind, distant traffic, that were later layered and manipulated in post-production to enhance mood without distracting from the story. The sound editors also incorporated subtle, almost subliminal cues to heighten tension, such as low-frequency rumbles or barely audible whispers. These choices create an immersive soundscape that pulls viewers into the film's world, making silence as meaningful as sound. An especially interesting tidbit involves the choreography of the film's action sequences. Rather than opting for large-scale, over-the-top battles, the filmmakers focused on tightly controlled, realistic confrontations. To achieve this, the actors and stunt coordinators engaged in intensive rehearsals, emphasizing precision and physical storytelling over spectacle. This approach required careful planning and creativity, ensuring that each movement carried narrative weight. Behind the scenes, the The choreography was likened to a carefully staged dance, where timing and subtlety were paramount. This dedication shows in the film's gritty, grounded combat scenes that feel immediate and believable. The relationship between the cast members off-screen also played a significant role in shaping performances. The intense and emotional nature of the story fostered a close bond among the actors, who often described the filming process as transformative. They supported one another through demanding scenes, sharing moments of levity and vulnerability. This camaraderie translated into palpable chemistry on screen, deepening the emotional impact of their interactions. Behind the scenes, the cast participated in group workshops and discussions, exploring their characters' backstories and motivations collaboratively. This collective approach enriched the narrative, creating a shared investment in the story's authenticity. A lesser-known fact involves the film's editing process, which was both meticulous and innovative. The editor worked closely with the director and sound team to shape the film's pacing and rhythm, ensuring that tension ebbed and flowed naturally. The editing style favors longer takes and deliberate pacing, allowing moments to breathe and emotions to simmer rather than rushing through action. This technique required careful balancing to maintain audience engagement, especially in quieter, character-driven scenes. The editor described the process as sculpting time, carving out a narrative flow that supports the film's emotional beats. In terms of visual style, the cinematographer employed a range of techniques to capture the story's tone. A mix of natural and artificial lighting was used to create contrasts between moments of warmth and menace. The use of handheld cameras added a sense of immediacy and intimacy, while carefully composed static shots provided moments of reflection and tension. The color grading leaned toward muted, earthy tones, reinforcing the film's grounded aesthetic. These choices contribute to an immersive visual experience that complements the narrative's emotional landscape. An unusual challenge faced during production was the depiction of certain locations, especially those that needed to convey both beauty and threat. For instance, scenes set in rural fields or wooded areas required the crew to work around environmental constraints, such as weather and accessibility, while maintaining continuity and atmosphere. The natural surroundings became almost a character in themselves, their moods shifting with the story. This interplay between environment and narrative was carefully managed, with the production team often waiting for just the right light or weather conditions to shoot key scenes. These efforts resulted in evocative imagery that enhances the film's themes of isolation and vulnerability. There's a particularly memorable anecdote about a scene involving a vehicle chase that went off-script due to an unexpected road closure. The crew quickly adapted, rerouting and improvising camera angles to maintain the scene's intensity. This spontaneity added a raw edge that the director later praised as serendipitous, enhancing the sequence's realism. It's moments like these that reveal the unpredictability and collaborative spirit of filmmaking, where challenges become opportunities for creativity. The film's soundtrack also features interesting backstories. The composer worked to create themes that reflect the characters' emotional journeys, blending subtle motifs with atmospheric sounds. Rather than relying on overt musical cues, the score often weaves in ambient textures and understated melodies that support the film's mood without overwhelming it. This restrained approach mirrors the film's overall aesthetic, reinforcing the delicate balance between tension and tenderness. Marketing the film involved its own unique strategies. The promotional materials emphasized the story's emotional depth and character-driven narrative, rather than focusing solely on action or suspense. Trailers and posters highlighted themes of family and survival, appealing to audiences seeking more than conventional genre fare. This approach proved effective, drawing viewers interested in thoughtful storytelling. The film's success demonstrated that nuanced, character-rich stories could resonate widely when marketed with authenticity. In the years since its release, the film has developed a dedicated following, with fans drawn to its blend of realism, emotional honesty, and suspense. Behind the scenes, cast and crew have shared stories of their experiences in interviews and special features, offering deeper insights into the creative process. These reflections reveal a shared pride in the film's craftsmanship and thematic resonance. Exploring these strange and fascinating facts about the film's making adds a new dimension to our appreciation. It shows that the power of a story comes not only from script and performance but from the collaborative, sometimes unpredictable alchemy of filmmaking. The dedication, ingenuity, and passion of everyone involved, from actors to sound designers, from location scouts to editors, infuse the film with its unique spirit. Ultimately, these behind-the-scenes tales remind us that filmmaking is a human endeavor, filled with challenges, surprises, and moments of magic. They invite us to look beyond the screen, to appreciate the craft and heart that bring stories to life. And in this film, that craft shines through every frame, every sound, every quiet gesture, creating a cinematic experience that lingers long after the credits roll. There's an undeniable rhythm to the unfolding of this story, a cadence that pulses beneath the surface of every scene, every gesture, every charged silence. To look at the film purely as a sequence of events would be to miss the intricate weave of meaning, emotion, and critical reflection that these moments carry. The significant events are not just plot points. They are the beating heart of a narrative that grapples with themes of identity, power, survival, and redemption. Approaching them from a critical perspective reveals how carefully each moment is crafted to deepen the film's impact, shaping its reception and emotional resonance in profound ways. The opening sequence sets the tone with an understated intensity, introducing us to a man and his daughter who are both running from a past that refuses to let go. Critically, this beginning functions as more than exposition. It is a meditation on trauma and the illusion of escape. The quiet rural setting contrasts sharply with the turbulent history that haunts the protagonist, underscoring a tension between surface calm and hidden chaos. This juxtaposition is key to the film's thematic exploration of duality, between past and present, safety and danger, peace and violence. The gradual revelation of the antagonist's role in the community is a masterclass in subtle storytelling. Rather than presenting a simplistic villain, the film offers a nuanced portrayal of power and menace. His presence embodies social and psychological tensions, fear, control, resentment, that simmer beneath the town's surface. Critically, this characterization challenges viewers to grapple with the nature of evil as a product of circumstance and choice, rather than inherent malice. This depth enriches the narrative and contributes to the film's intellectual appeal. One of the film's most compelling sequences is the bar confrontation, which operates on multiple levels. Narratively, it escalates tension and exposes fault lines between characters. Critically, it serves as a tableau of social dynamics, dominance, submission, resistance, that echo larger themes of the story. The scene's choreography of dialogue, body language, and spatial relationships invites close analysis, revealing how power is negotiated and contested in microcosm. This layered construction elevates the film's engagement beyond genre conventions. The protagonist's preparations to protect his daughter, training, fortifying the home, strategic planning, highlight themes of agency and control amid chaos. Critically, these moments illustrate the psychological burden of survival, the constant vigilance required to maintain a semblance of order. They also underscore the intersection of personal and social responsibility, as the father navigates his role within a community marked by suspicion and fear. This portrayal adds emotional depth and realism, grounding the narrative in human experience. The daughter's growing awareness of danger and her increasing assertiveness represent a key emotional and thematic development. Her character arc embodies resilience and empowerment, challenging traditional victim narratives. Critically, her evolution invites reflection on agency and identity, particularly in contexts of threat and marginalization. Her moments of courage and vulnerability are portrayed with sensitivity, reinforcing the film's commitment to nuanced character development. As the story advances toward its climax, the escalation of violence serves as a catalyst for critical reflection on justice, morality, and the limits of redemption. The protagonist's confrontations are fraught with ethical complexity, highlighting the tensions between self-defense and retribution, love and vengeance. These scenes invite viewers to consider the costs of violence on individuals and communities, as well as the possibilities for healing and change. The film's refusal to simplify these dilemmas enhances its thematic richness. The antagonist's backstory and motivations are gradually unveiled, adding layers of psychological realism. Critically, this humanization complicates the narrative, moving it beyond a binary of good versus evil. His actions are contextualized within histories of trauma and survival, challenging viewers to engage with uncomfortable questions about culpability and empathy. This complexity is a hallmark of the film's intellectual approach, encouraging nuanced engagement. The climax, featuring a tense and emotionally charged showdown, exemplifies the film's mastery of suspense and character-driven drama. The scene's pacing, visual composition, and sound design work in concert to create a powerful sensory experience. Critically, it functions as a narrative and thematic fulcrum, where personal and social conflicts converge. The protagonist's choices here resonate deeply, embodying the film's exploration of sacrifice, love, and moral ambiguity. The resolution balances closure with ambiguity, reflecting the complexities of real life. The family's survival is tinged with loss and uncertainty, yet suffused with hope and renewal. Critically, this ending resists formulaic resolution, inviting ongoing reflection on the themes of resilience and change. It positions the film as a meditation on endurance, the capacity to move forward despite scars and setbacks. Throughout these significant events, the film's thematic and emotional resonance is amplified by its careful craftsmanship. Cinematography, sound design, and editing contribute to an immersive atmosphere that supports critical engagement. The use of silence and ambient noise creates tension and intimacy, while visual framing underscores themes of isolation and connection. These technical elements enhance the narrative's emotional impact, inviting viewers to experience the story viscerally. The film's reception reflects appreciation for its layered storytelling and emotional depth. Critics have praised its avoidance of genre clichés and its commitment to character-driven drama. Audience responses often highlight the film's ability to evoke empathy and provoke thoughtful reflection. This reception underscores the effectiveness of the film's critical approach, demonstrating its resonance beyond entertainment. In examining the film's major events through a critical lens, it becomes clear that each moment serves multiple functions: advancing plot, developing character, and exploring theme. This multifaceted storytelling enriches the film's impact, making it a work that rewards attentive viewing and thoughtful analysis. The interplay of narrative and critical perspectives creates a dynamic experience that lingers intellectually and emotionally. Ultimately, the film stands as a compelling exploration of human resilience and complexity. Its significant events challenge viewers to confront difficult questions about violence, identity, and redemption. The emotional journeys of its characters offer profound insights into the costs and possibilities of survival. This depth elevates the film, positioning it as a thoughtful contribution to contemporary cinema. As we reflect on the narrative's unfolding and its critical dimensions, we recognize the film's success in marrying entertainment with intellectual inquiry. It invites us not only to witness a story but to engage with its moral and psychological textures. This engagement enriches our appreciation and deepens the film's cultural significance. In conclusion, the film's significant events are pivotal not only for their narrative roles but for their thematic and emotional richness. Through careful construction and critical nuance, the story achieves a resonance that extends beyond the screen, touching on universal aspects of the human experience. This fusion of storytelling and critical insight makes the film a powerful and enduring work. There's a unique alchemy that transforms a script on paper into a living, breathing film. And with this story, that transformation was as much about heart and grit as it was about technique and vision. Behind the scenes, the making of this film is a tale as rich and textured as the narrative itself, marked by unexpected challenges, creative problem-solving, and moments of quiet magic that often go unnoticed by audiences but are essential to the film's soul. As we peel back the curtain, we enter a world where collaboration, ingenuity, and passion come together to shape every frame, every line, every sound. From the very beginning, the director's vision was clear: to craft a story that felt grounded, authentic, and emotionally resonant. Taking on the dual role of director and lead actor was a bold choice, one that required balancing the demands of performance with the broader responsibility of shaping the film's overall tone and pacing. This duality created a unique dynamic on set, where the director's intimate understanding of the protagonist's inner world informed every creative decision. His immersion in both roles fostered a collaborative atmosphere, with cast and crew responding to a leader deeply invested not only in the story but in each individual performance. Casting was a particularly thoughtful process. The filmmakers sought actors capable of conveying complex emotions, often through subtle expressions rather than overt dialogue, in keeping with the film's emphasis on psychological nuance. Auditions often involved improvisational exercises and silent scenes, challenging actors to communicate vulnerability, tension, and strength nonverbally. This process was demanding but ultimately rewarding, yielding performances rich in authenticity. The young actress playing the daughter, for instance, underwent extensive coaching to balance innocence with emerging resilience, creating a character whose quiet strength anchors the film emotionally. The choice of filming locations was equally deliberate. The production team scouted extensively for settings that could embody the story's dual themes of refuge and threat. The rural town selected offered a mix of picturesque landscapes and a sense of insularity, capturing the film's mood perfectly. However, shooting on location presented logistical challenges, from unpredictable weather to limited infrastructure, that required flexibility and creativity. The crew often had to adapt quickly, turning unexpected changes into opportunities for richer atmospheric shots. One memorable instance involved capturing early morning fog that wasn't scheduled but added an ethereal quality to a key scene, enhancing the film's haunting tone. Night shoots formed a significant portion of the filming schedule, demanding stamina and focus from everyone involved. Creating a sense of suspense and menace in low light required meticulous coordination between the cinematographer, lighting technicians, and director. The use of practical light sources like lanterns and candles not only enhanced realism but also presented technical challenges in balancing exposure and mood. Actors had to perform under physically demanding conditions, maintaining emotional intensity despite fatigue and cold. These constraints, however, often deepen performances, adding layers of authenticity born from real discomfort. One of the production's most lauded achievements lies in its sound design. The sound team embraced the challenge of crafting an auditory landscape that could heighten tension without overwhelming the story. Recording ambient sounds on location, wind rustling through trees, distant animal calls, the crunch of footsteps on gravel, provided a naturalistic base. These recordings were then artfully layered and manipulated in post-production to create a soundscape that draws viewers into the film's world. Subtle auditory cues signal danger or emotional shifts, demonstrating the team's precision and creativity. Their work was described by the sound designer as painting with silence, a concept that beautifully encapsulates the film's approach. Practical effects took precedence over CGI throughout production, reinforcing the film's grounded aesthetic. Makeup artists and special effects teams worked tirelessly to create believable injuries and physical transformations. Their attention to detail ensured that even brief glimpses of violence carried weight and realism. This hands-on approach extended to set design, where props and environments were crafted with an eye toward narrative significance. For instance, the family's home was meticulously furnished to reflect character backstory and emotional states, with small objects serving as silent storytellers. The film's action sequences were choreographed with an emphasis on realism and character motivation. Rather than relying on exaggerated stunts, the production favored tightly controlled movements that conveyed both physicality and psychological tension. Actors and stunt coordinators rehearsed extensively to ensure safety while preserving emotional truth. The choreography was likened to a form of physical storytelling, where every gesture and reaction contributes to narrative clarity. This approach resulted in scenes that feel immediate and impactful without sacrificing subtlety. The cast's chemistry was nurtured through off-camera bonding and workshops. Given the story's emotional intensity, building trust among actors was essential. Group discussions about character motivations and relationships helped create a shared understanding that translated into nuanced performances. The actors often described the filming process as transformative, with moments of laughter and support balancing the weight of the story. This camaraderie enriched the portrayals, lending authenticity to family dynamics and interpersonal conflicts. Editing was a painstaking and collaborative process. The editor worked closely with the director and sound team to shape the film's rhythm, balancing moments of stillness with bursts of tension. Longer takes were favored to allow emotional beats to breathe, while tighter cuts heightened suspense. The pacing was designed to immerse viewers in the characters' experiences, inviting them to inhabit moments of vulnerability and fear. This deliberate crafting of tempo underscores the film's thematic exploration of tension and release. The visual style was shaped through a partnership between director and cinematographer focused on naturalism and mood. A muted color palette of earth tones and soft lighting creates an atmosphere both familiar and unsettling. The use of handheld cameras adds intimacy and immediacy, while carefully composed static shots offer moments of reflection. This visual language supports the narrative's emotional depth, framing characters within environments that echo their internal states. A notable production story involves a scene where weather conditions threaten to derail filming. Unexpected rain arrived during an outdoor shoot, but instead of postponing, the team embraced the elements. The rain was woven into the scene, enhancing its emotional intensity and visual texture. This adaptability became a hallmark of the production, demonstrating a willingness to turn obstacles into creative advantages. The soundtrack features an understated score that complements the film's tone without overwhelming it. The composer employed subtle motifs and ambient sounds to reinforce mood and character psychology. Music cues are sparing, reserved for moments of emotional significance. This restraint aligns with the film's broader aesthetic of subtlety and nuance, supporting narrative themes rather than dictating emotional response. Marketing strategies for the film prioritized authenticity and thematic resonance. Promotional materials highlighted the story's emotional core and character-driven drama, differentiating it from more conventional genre fare. Trailers focused on tension and relationships rather than action set pieces, attracting audiences interested in thoughtful storytelling. This approach proved successful, contributing to positive critical reception and audience engagement. In reflecting on the production's journey, what emerges is a portrait of filmmaking as a collaborative art form, one that balances vision and improvisation, planning and spontaneity. The dedication of every team member, from actors to technicians, shaped a film that feels both intimate and expansive. Their collective efforts forged a cinematic experience that resonates deeply and lingers in the mind. These behind-the-scenes stories and fun facts remind us that every frame on screen carries with it countless decisions, challenges, and moments of inspiration. They invite appreciation not only for the finished film but for the human endeavor that brought it into being. In this case, that endeavor resulted in a work of art marked by emotional honesty, technical skill, and creative passion. A film that speaks to the power of storytelling to illuminate the complexities of the human condition. The film's visual storytelling extends to its use of props and set dressing. Objects within the home and community carry narrative weight. Photographs, tools, personal items reveal character histories and relationships. These tangible details enrich the world building, inviting viewers to discover layers of meaning through observation. Lighting techniques create contrast and focus within scenes. Spotlighting draws attention to key emotional moments, while shadowed areas create mystery and suspense. The interplay of natural and artificial light sources produces textures that evoke mood and theme. These lighting choices are integral to the film's sensory impact. The integration of sound and visual elements culminates in a cohesive sensory experience. Moments of silence punctuated by subtle sounds heighten emotional engagement. Visual cues correspond with auditory signals, creating a unified narrative flow that immerses viewers. In exploring the setting and cinematic elements, it becomes clear that the film's world is crafted with meticulous care and intentionality. Every detail, from landscape to lighting, from sound to composition, serves to deepen the story's emotional resonance and thematic richness. Ultimately, the film's settings are more than locations. They are characters in their own right, shaping and reflecting the narrative's core concerns. The cinematic elements work in harmony to create an atmosphere that is haunting, intimate, and evocative. This immersive sensory landscape invites viewers to engage deeply with the story, experiencing not just events but moods, emotions, and symbolic meanings. It elevates the film from mere storytelling to an artful exploration of place, perception, and human experience. Reflecting on these elements enriches our understanding and appreciation, revealing the layers of craft behind the film's emotional power. It reminds us that cinema is as much about the spaces between actions as the actions themselves, and that mood and tone can carry meaning as profound as any dialogue or plot twist. Through its masterful use of setting and cinematic technique, the film creates a world that lingers in the mind and heart, a testament to the power of visual storytelling to illuminate the complexities of life, fear, and hope. There's a particular kind of quiet that lingers after a story has settled, a gentle resonance that hums beneath the surface of our thoughts long after the last frame has faded to black. As we draw this journey to a close, it feels fitting to pause and reflect on all that we've explored together. Those threads of narrative and character, setting and sound, tension and tenderness, that weave into the rich tapestry of this film. It's been a voyage not just through plot points or cinematic technique, but through the emotional and intellectual heart of a story that invites us to look deeper, to listen closely, and to feel profoundly. We began by stepping into the world the film creates, a world at once familiar and unsettling, defined by quiet rural expanses that hold both beauty and menace. The setting itself emerged as a character, shaping the mood and underscoring the story's central themes of isolation, vulnerability, and survival. The interplay of light and shadow, the whisper of wind through the fields, the tactile textures of worn wood and weathered stone, all these elements combine to immerse us fully, drawing us into a sensory experience that transcends the screen. This meticulous crafting of atmosphere was not mere decoration but a vital part of storytelling, heightening every moment's emotional stakes. At the story's core, we found a family navigating the precarious balance between hope and fear. The father's journey, marked by regret and fierce love, anchored the narrative with a raw authenticity that resonated deeply. His protective instincts, his struggle to reconcile a troubled past with a desire for peace, painted a portrait of resilience and vulnerability that felt true and moving. Alongside him, the daughter's evolving strength and innocence added layers of poignancy, reminding us of the enduring power of hope amid uncertainty. Their relationship, the tender, sometimes fraught dance of parent and child, became a vessel for exploring universal themes of connection, sacrifice, and growth. The film's antagonists were no mere caricatures of evil but complex figures shaped by circumstance, ambition, and pain. This nuanced portrayal enriched the narrative, challenging us to consider the multifaceted nature of conflict and the often blurred lines between right and wrong. The tensions that simmered beneath the town's surface, the power struggles, whispered threats, fractured alliances, echoed real-world complexities, grounding the story in a social reality that added depth and urgency. Our exploration also illuminated the film's commitment to subtlety and psychological nuance. Rather than relying on spectacle or formula, it chose a measured pace, letting tension build gradually through small gestures, charged silences, and carefully choreographed confrontations. The editing and cinematography worked in tandem to create a rhythm that mirrored the characters' emotional states, inviting us into their inner worlds with empathy and insight. Sound design played a crucial role here as well, with ambient noises and silence woven into a rich auditory tapestry that heightened suspense and intimacy. Behind the scenes, the film's creation was itself a story of dedication and collaboration. From the casting choices that emphasized authentic, nonverbal storytelling, to the challenges of shooting on location in unpredictable conditions, to the painstaking work of sound editors and practical effects teams, the making of the film was a testament to the power of craft and passion. These production insights deepen our appreciation, reminding us that every frame carries the imprint of countless human efforts and creative sparks. The narrative's unfolding, with its blend of action and reflection, personal struggle and social commentary, offers much to ponder. Themes of trauma and redemption, isolation and belonging, violence and mercy, thread through the plot and character arcs with subtlety and depth. The film doesn't offer easy answers but encourages us to sit with ambiguity and complexity, to consider the messy realities of life and love. As we've journeyed through these layers together, the film's lasting impact becomes clear. It's a work that speaks to the heart and mind alike, weaving story and style into an experience that lingers, quiet, haunting, and deeply human. It reminds us that cinema's power lies not just in what it shows, but in what it evokes, the unspoken fears, hopes, and questions that define our shared humanity. If this exploration has resonated with you, if the film's themes, characters, and craft have sparked your curiosity or moved your heart, I warmly invite you to stay connected. Here on this channel, Frame Shift, we dive beyond the surface, seeking out the rich veins of meaning and artistry in cinema's most compelling stories. Each video is an invitation to think deeply, feel fully, and engage thoughtfully with the films that shape our culture and our understanding of ourselves. So, if you appreciate these journeys into the layered worlds of film, where story meets symbolism, where character meets craft, please consider subscribing. Your support helps us continue creating thoughtful, in-depth analyses that honor the complexity and beauty of cinema. It also builds a community of like-minded enthusiasts who value not just entertainment but intellectual and emotional exploration. Thank you for spending this time with me, for listening and reflecting alongside, for sharing in the quiet power of storytelling. I look forward to the stories we'll uncover together in the future, each one a new path to understanding, connection, and inspiration. Until then, keep watching closely, thinking deeply, and allowing the art of film to shift your frame of mind and heart.